Hello, and welcome back to WesteroScraft Walks. I'm your host, Chris the Gardener, and today I have a guest with me. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Glitch. I've been here before.
Yes, he's been in the High Garden video, and he was stalking me during the Red Mountains video.
I was sick that day. Couldn't talk.
Fair. And this week we are exploring Pinkmaiden due to popular demand. It seems a lot of you wanted me to explore Pinkmaiden when I reached the Riverlands. So, shall we?
Let's go.
Yes, I should also apologize for the lack of videos this past month. My computer has just been not cooperating with me, and I finally got it to work again. So, more videos will be coming out soon.
Your RAM sticks really had it out for you at that point.
Yeah, they do. I mean, I have my theories as to why, although I'm probably not going to mention them in this video. But here we are in the the main village in Pinkmaiden. As you can see, it doesn't look all that great right now because of all the raiding and pillaging throughout the Riverlands.
Yes, you can thank Sir Gregor for that.
Yes, and there's like something that we assume Sir Gregor did to the Sept, but we'll get around to that soon.
You'll notice it's a little plain. Yeah, so we got some market stalls. Nice. Would have been a nice little market.
Yeah, all of the canopies have collapsed, and you have a I guess it is burned. Like, you can see the difference in the log types.
Yes, it is definitely burned. It's just, I think it looks like it's exploded.
Yeah.
They definitely didn't have anything powerful enough to cause a legitimate explosion outside of truly ludicrous amounts of wildfire.
Yes, but even wildfire would be excessive. But you can see all the rain pouring out. I mean, you've seen how much wildfire could cause an explosion.
Yeah, well, with the historical record as it is, Summerhall, Aegon the Fourth, Aerion, and then of course the Mad King.
Yes.
It's explosive. It can cause a significant amount of damage. It's less so of an explosive, and as I understand it, an extremely powerful conflagrate words. Who needs those? I just absolutely stuck my foot in my mouth.
Well, I'll take it from here. So here we have the Sept, and this is what I was talking about earlier. You can kind of see one of the statues has just been thrown out the window. Really nice detail. You should really tell whoever's going to do the Sept in Pinkmaiden. They have to keep this.
They do. Yes. Yeah, for anybody confused, I'm planning administrative mega project around this area, which would include Pinkmaiden, and so, like, as a redo. So I'm definitely keeping the the statue thrown out the window.
Yes, and Pinkmaiden's quite old. Like, it's like a decade old, if I remember. Like 15 years?
Very, very nearly. We're coming up on, if memory serves, just a week away from a decade old.
Well,
as of recording, which is the 4th.
Let's just call it a decade old. But yeah, you can see...
No, that's fine. It's basically the same thing.
But yeah, you can see the Sept. It's in shambles. Statues
very tragic.
Are toppled over. The smith was thrown out of the window. The mother over here has been toppled, as well as the maiden and the crone.
The crone got cut in half.
Oh, yes. Yeah, for a second.
And technically, so did the smith.
Yes. Exactly.
These are his legs.
Just...
The rest of his body's out the window.
Yes. So let's just leave the Sept as it is.
It's sacrilegious. Ah, well. I mean, it's Sir Gregor. What do you expect? Dude is piece of work.
It looks like a majority of the houses here have been burned or collapsed, so there's not a lot to see in here. But
Yes, there is the inn.
Yes, the inn. And
a nice detail in this inn is that it includes a somewhat rare instance of common bedchambers, which was a relatively common circumstance. Low-born travelers or destitute nobility, they wouldn't have the coin to pay for one of these private rooms, so they would stay in one of these more crowded rooms with lots of bed piles or cheaper mattresses, and with other travelers.
Yes. We have a lot of these rooms. No, this is one of the private rooms. But
yes, there's a second one here.
Yes. Yeah, and I think this is a really nice touch to have these types of inns throughout the realm. Not a lot of our inns, or even the inns that we've seen on this channel so far, reflects.
No, they do not. It's a nice detail to see, especially from such an old build.
Yes. So let's make our way over to the castle. The rest of the village is burned, and there's not a lot more to explore. So we're going to be
I believe so.
Yeah, we're going to be going the long way around because the castle, the main gate of the castle, is still barricaded.
This is not the long way around. There's a different fork in the road.
Oh, there's a different fork in the road? No. I thought
wait.
this takes us to the main gate.
Oh, yes, it does. It does. Down here.
Yeah, it's this.
Right. It is this way.
Yes.
Yeah. So we can see there's a lot of fields with crops still here, but there's also several that have been burned, as we'll see coming up.
Yes.
Which I believe we head this way.
Yeah, you can see in the distance there's a bunch of burned trees, and like right past this is one of the example of the burned fields. Not this one though. This one is a fallow field.
Correct. Yes. Fallow fields were the crops in the medieval era and sometimes now today are grown in a rotating cycle. So for an example, they would pick two cereal grains that used similar but differing nutrients in the soil, such as wheat and then rye. And then there would be a period of no growth, that is to say fallow, where they do not reseed the fields and they let nature take it over. So these are what appear to be freshly fallowed fields.
Yes, unlike this field over here, this one is one of the burned fields. See, There's a lot more char in the dirt.
A bit crispy. I will never stop making that joke.
I like it, actually. Oh, here's one of
good.
those old
shrine-adjacent structures.
Yes.
Whatever they really are. Yeah, there was another one over at the fork near the village.
I'm just going to say that it's a shrine to the Sept, because, like, if you look at it the right way, like, it has space for each of the statues, or like the aspects of.
If you look at it as gaps between the pillaring,
Yes.
Yeah, there's just a distinct lack of idols.
Yes. And here we are at the postern gate. You can kind of see that the Lannisters have broken through.
They certainly have.
Yes.
It's a bit of a mess here. So let's head up.
Yeah, the stairs.
Yes, this is into the gate mechanism.
Yes. So here's the portcullis. The top half is still unburnt. Can't say that much for the bottom half.
And in here we have all sorts of stuff. Most of it stables.
Well, I thought we established these were like sties for pigs.
We think, yeah. And this here is probably a house for some kind of administrative staff, but it's obviously seen better days.
We go here. Oh, take a look at this. You're gonna love this garden.
Who and why? That was wonderful. Here we have a bit of a training ground next to some of the destroyed structures.
Yes. Some targets in a nice cup, since it looks like someone just grabbed one of the helmets off the targets.
Yes, probably. Coming back through here, it's a very dead tree, very burned, that they appear to have been chopping branches off of.
Yes.
I guess we'll find out what that's for later, or not.
I mean, we'll see in a bit.
Yeah.
Over here is the blacksmith, or the smith.
It's about the same. Yeah. Blacksmiths and castles weren't always the best, but they were consistently good. So he probably did weapons as well as general purpose stuff.
Yes. Of course, it too has seen better days.
Yes, there's a bit of a leak in the roof.
It's a bit overcast right now, or at least with the shaders that I'm using.
It looks like I'm staring into the blue outside the sky cells for me.
And this building over here?
Yes, this building. What was this? This is another stables. Yes, this is the big stables, probably for the household guard.
Yes. Got some sacks of oats. I'm gonna say they're oats. And it looks like all the horses are gone.
Yeah, horses are extremely valuable, especially in the medieval era. Right up until the invention of the automobile, the horse-drawn carriage was the form of transportation for the upper class. And so horses, especially thoroughbred ones, would be worth, in back then money, up to hundreds of dollars. That's tens of thousands today, if not more.
Yeah, that is expensive.
Yeah, so any raider worth their salt will take every horse in a castle that they can get their greedy hands on.
Leaving the pipers with none.
Well, yes. Essentially, yes. It's good to demoralize and disable your enemy, and it is a great boon for the raiding force to have able horses, because they likely lose several per raid. Now up here, it appears to be a simple hayloft. Got some living quarters for the stable hands.
Straw beds, nothing fancy.
Here we have the pit. It would appear somebody did in fact fall down the pit.
Well, now two more people have fallen down the pit.
Yes, we have. Now here is where the raiders appear to have been building a battering ram, makeshift battering ram, I should say, to try and knock down the door to the inner wards.
I'd say they're kind of successful. There's a hole in the gate.
I believe that's a peephole.
Oh.
The other gates have something similar.
Ah, okay. That makes sense. So over here, Looks
Now
like we
this
have,
building,
yes, the kennels.
more animals. Oh, these are the kennels.
Yes.
Yes, and then around the back, if memory serves, there's a little storage room, which is very, very out of the way.
Yes.
Quite hard to get to, which is not a surprise that it's been left untouched, relatively speaking.
Yeah, I don't think they would be spending a lot of time going, looking at every inch of the castle just for things they can
Definitely
take.
not. Now here we have, I believe this we decided was for livestock, expensive livestock.
Yes. Because you definitely need to protect them.
Yes, especially breeding bulls and the like.
Yes.
There's a slight hole in the roof.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they'll patch it up soon.
Yes. I mean, they don't have much manpower nowadays.
True.
Bit wiped. Some small gardens here, and then we have our first tower.
Yes. And here is the first tower.
Yes. This tower is filled with servants and prominent household members that may have a place in the household but are not deserving of a place in the inner wards of the castle.
We have some armor here, so this might belong to
I think that's just a banner that was not replaced.
Oh. I think this might be for the Master of Arms and Captain of the Guard. Like, they'd have...
Yeah, probably. Here. At least one of them would still be here.
Yes.
Even after the raids. Now, if we go up a floor, I believe this is a bit of a maze, but these are probably lower relations, if I had to guess. Lesser members of the family.
One of them isn't here right now?
Yes. There's also the possibility that they are members of, I believe, Sir Lewis's household, the second son of Lord Clement Piper.
Yes.
Now up here, I believe this we decided was Lewis's wife, who is not here right now. Nice bath.
Carpet for the towels.
Wait a second. Oh, no, that's not. I thought I saw a helmet. It's not a helmet.
No, it is.
Wait a second. It is. This is definitely not Lewis's wife. Probably another member of staff. Because if memory serves, Mark Piper is young, and so Lewis Piper may not be married yet. Because Mark is not. So why would Lewis Piper marry at the behest of his father when his father's heir had not yet married?
That's a fair point. But I think this might be... Yeah, it is like Lewis's chambers and like other semi-important.
Yes, likely say the Lord Steward or something similar.
Yes.
The house down there probably belongs to the blacksmith, in truth.
Oh, true, yes. Or there was like a loft in the blacksmith, but it got broke and caved.
Potentially.
Roof collapsed. But yes, this is the tower. There's nothing in this one.
There's nothing in most of the turrets, to be frank.
Oh, let's see that. So,
yes. And we, of course, have the quintessential feature of any medieval castle.
Oh, yes.
Copious amounts of privies.
Yes. Very essential.
Incredibly. I mean, people overuse them, underuse them, and everything in between, so... did not miss how dizzy that makes me.
Well, we're about to go through a couple more towers. I don't know what to tell you.
Yay! This
So-
castle's like half towers.
Yes. So this tower here is the jail tower. We have some
Pretty much
spacious-
exclusively, yes.
Yes, we have some spacious cells, probably common.
These are, yeah, I'm thinking these are probably for just a cell for holding rabble.
Yes.
Down here we have the cells for probably violent prisoners, as well as the
Yes.
quarters of the jailer.
You know, now that I'm thinking, just as an aside, would the oh, no, actually, no, never mind. Don't mind me. I just had one of those thoughts that kind of just. It was a good
Just
thought.
go nowhere.
No, well, it was a good thought, but I think like we already know the answer to it. But yes, like these cells are smaller, maybe for like individual prisoners.
Yes, potentially the various murderers, rapists, thieves, that kind of thing. Violent criminals that are either going to get severe punishment or the wall, which is to say, not to say that the wall is not severe.
Yes. Shall we up?
We missed like half the tower.
Oh, I mean, I thought they were all like the same.
Not quite. So those were all commoner cells. These up here are more befitting of petty nobility. This is where you would hold, like, a knight that were accused of murder or treason against his liege.
Oh, we have a nice desk
Here-
in this one.
Yes, this is where you keep fellow nobility. So this would be for lords of knights or lords that are of comparable standing to the pipers. As it is rare that a knight rises that high, but we do know of chiefly one special case, which is House Templeton. They're a house of landed knights, but they're among the most powerful in the Vale. And that's counting them with the Royces of Runestone, the Graftons of Gulltown. Oh, they're up there with the best.
Interesting. So here we are.
Yes.
Top of the tower. There's no entrance or exit from here.
There is not. We must go back down.
Let's prepare for more dizziness.
An interesting fact about jails in castles: they evolved initially from they initially evolved from the keeps in a castle. The castle keep was initially the only real part of a castle that existed back in the early Norman days when castles were just becoming prevalent in England. And then it spread, of course, out towards the rest of Europe with time.
Mhm.
But after the first residential areas were built within the castles, the keeps actually transitioned to being the first jails. So that is where we get the term dungeon from. Actually, it's from the French term donjon, which is spelled donjon, which is a keep.
Aha. You know, I never
And
knew
they were
that. I never knew
yeah,
that.
they were only used in truth for highborn prisoners at the time. You wouldn't really keep commoners in your prison because the prisons are expensive. You're feeding someone, which means they have to be worth something.
Mhm.
So if it's a commoner, they're accused of thievery, you bind them or you whip them and you let them go. Or you kill them. Grim. Yeah,
Yes,
but
very grim.
there's your history lesson.
So this tower, the next tower over, this is the guard tower. It looks like the table has been overturned and used as a barricade. Or like some sort of cover.
Yes, there was definitely some fighting going on here. They even broke the furniture. How dare they?
Oh, yes. It's going to be really expensive to rebuild.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So, what's over here? Oh, just a privy.
Yes. More privies. You can never
This
get
is the staircase.
Above, we have the armory, where it looks like some guards.
Some unpleasant business has occurred.
Yes. Some armor's missing.
Yeah.
Crossbows. Swords.
Yeah. Looks like it's been ransacked a little bit. If we go up another floor, I believe this is the parlor for said soldiers. This is where they sleep. This is where they eat and drink and gamble. And this is where they have easiest access to the battlements.
Yes. Go up here, that you kind of see it goes that way, but we're going to go the other way.
Yes, towards the next tower.
Yes.
Now this tower, if memory serves, has the sworn swords of the family. That is, landless knights, either second sons who stand nothing to inherit, or hedge knights who have no inheritance, or have no fathers to inherit from, per se. They would come and serve a lord for pay and housing.
Yes, and they would live in this tower in the case of people.
Yes, they would.
So
Up here, I think these are guards and squires, most likely. If we go here, this is probably a sergeant. Like a more important guard, just not quite that important to merit his own room like these fellows. These are likely the cream of the crop. These are the expensive knights that are good at what they do.
We have armor.
Yes, we have armor, and we have fancy beds and chairs and furniture.
Oh, and this one even has a writing desk.
Yes. Not all knights were literate, but a surprising number of them were. It's the lowest caste in medieval society where literacy was about as common as illiteracy. So you would not expect a knight to be able to read if they were of uncertain birth, but you would not be surprised if they could. Of course, if they were a highborn knight, say a second son of a wealthier family, you would expect them to be able to read.
Over here we have the parlor for the sworn swords.
Yes. Nice hearth, bit of 45 degree, and a nice table with lots of booze.
Yes, they're definitely going to need it.
Oh yeah, after the battles that they're gonna have.
Yes.
Right, and we head out this way. It brings us out past the blacksmith and back into the outer ward. Now, this castle is aged, so it's not formulated quite like an actual castle in the real world would be. Usually, this kind of infrastructure, the blacksmith, the primary stables, the animals, the livestock, the gardens, all of those would take place in an outer ward. That is to say, a larger, less protected area than the keep and the inner ward where the true nobility live.
Which is where we're going to head to next.
Yes. Yeah. So this one the same height of walls and the same kind of protection is offered to the entire castle, which was relatively uncommon.
What do you suppose
Although
this was?
This, I could not tell you. Probably a bread oven. This is just a big area to bake bread.
Yes.
I mean, the bread oven, this one looks like it actually is working how it's supposed to. That is, we cannot say the same for the one in the kitchens, which we'll get to shortly. I do have to wonder what on earth this is.
That is a good question.
Let me do some magicking real quick. There is absolutely nothing to tell me what that is.
Yeah, and everything here is collapsed, so I can't tell what this used to be. But
there's no detail to be had.
Through the gates, and we are in, well, kind of the inner ward, quote unquote.
The beginnings of it. This is where the noble administration would really begin to take place. So you've got what is presumably the noble laundry here, and here we have the brewery. This is where they brew their ale and their beer.
Here it looks like we have some outdoor storage.
Yes, bit ill-advised considering rain, but
well, I mean, they have the overhang.
That it's the funniest joke you've told all day.
Yes,
given that the day just started.
You're
welcome. That was exceptionally rude of me. Here we have room and board for the brewers, and potentially servants as well. So washerwomen, wet nurses, that kind of thing. Now, back out in the yard, we have a staircase up to the battlements within the castle.
So let's just take a quick peek.
So this is the outer ward, which is as far as Gregor and his raiders managed to reach.
Yes. And
over here,
I mean,
that
we
is
could just
the
go downstairs. And...
Yeah, we've got some other stuff to look at in here though first.
Oh yes.
Yeah, but
yeah, this is main.
That's the big entrance.
Yes.
There's a bush there. So here is the undercroft. This is all the cellars and stuff. Now this is where Gregor and his men wish they got. Look at all that booze.
And all the meats.
Yes, yes. They likely got their fair share from all the slaughtered livestock.
True.
But believe it or not, ice storage like that was actually pretty common. It gets cold down in these undercrofts, and so the ice would last for months. Now that doesn't work very well with Westeros seasons, because Westeros seasons are years long with no adverse effects on the climate, and ice rooms we just kind of have to assume exist. But in the real world, they would harvest in the late winter, and it would last them all the way through summer. In cases where it was maintained especially well.
I believe they would get their ice from the north, so that's a northern export.
Well, likely not. In all honesty, you could export ice from the north in the winter, but there wouldn't be a market for it because everything is frozen. And in the summer, the ice wouldn't last long enough to make it down this far south.
That is fair. Here it looks like we have a small vault.
Bit barren. I imagine they had to empty it considering all the repairs they had to do.
True.
Now this is the true undercroft, all the vaulted arches.
Yes, and the provisions for the castle. We have a lot of cheese here. Lord Piper must like his cheese.
It's the provisions for Lord Piper, more like. Look at all that sour leaf. For those who don't know, sour leaf is an in-universe plant that behaves similar to chewing tobacco.
Have some meats.
Some meat storage, some nice glass stuff.
Well, firewood, definitely. Lots of it. Okay. So that's the undercroft.
Riveting material here. Undercroft food stores.
Yes.
Now here we have the kitchens on our right and the audience chamber on our left. So I suppose we start there.
Yes.
Wonderful. And here is Lord Piper's seat.
Yes. And then you have the giant Pinkmaiden sigil behind.
Yes. Doesn't that mean that this dude sits in front of a barely clothed hot lady all day?
Yes.
Honestly, goals.
Here we have a record room, chest that's surprisingly
A little bit
not-
crooked.
Yes. And
See,
want to-
here's the table for probably bread and salt, but with a distinct lack of it because they're not going to be welcoming anybody but Gregor, and I don't think they want to give him a nice warm welcome.
No, in fact, they'd probably want him to leave, so he'll probably have his sword out.
Yeah, I'm thinking so. Now, if we head up this way, and in this room, this is likely the grooms of Sir Mark Piper, who we believe lives in this tower. He is the heir to Lord Clement Piper, so he has his own noble servants, in essence, just in the same way that a noble lady has her ladies in waiting, which are nobility lesser than the station of the lady they serve. These grooms are the same purpose, but for a man. So they're lesser nobility, likely knights and companions to the young lordling.
And if we go one more floor up, we have Mark's bedchamber. And funny story, as we were just looking around Pinkmaiden, it's like every time we saw a large bed, there always seemed to be an even larger bed.
In the next tower over.
Yes.
Yeah, we initially thought this was Lord Piper's bedchamber. It's not. This is the third smallest bed in the castle.
So this room is definitely for his squire.
Yes, either a squire or a page of some kind.
Yes.
And then, of course, the privy.
Always essential. Then we have access to the battlements from this door here.
All right. Now, Lord Piper, I believe, is not currently in the castle right now. I believe he is at River Run with his heir Mark, so neither of them are actually here.
I thought it was only Mark.
Let me check my sources.
Let's just take another look at this here.
Ah, here it is. Lord Vance and Lord Piper guard the pass below the Golden Tooth in a Game of Thrones, but are smashed. Vance is killed and Piper is put to flight, presumably back to Pinkmaiden.
So he could potentially be here.
Yes, but we know Mark Piper, his heir, is at River Run with Edmure. because they're buddies. Now in here, this is the great kitchen for the castle.
Here's the inaccurate. Well, I mean, it does.
It looks
like the other one.
It does look like it's designed like the other one. Now, the gripe I have, dear viewers, is that a lot of bread ovens on the server do not work the way they should. People put a fire beneath. So there would be embers or ash down here, perchance. And the bread would cook up here. That doesn't work because the stone would get so hot that the bread would burn before cooking through. What they would do is they would pile up some firewood in the oven like so. They would burn it there, wait for it to reduce to ash and charcoal, and sweep it all out, and then put the bread on this still warm surface. And that residual heat would allow the bread to cook through without burning.
I actually just thought of a great idea what to do with that history lesson. I'll tell you later. But for now, let's
I'll hold you to that.
yes, let's continue on. We have a butter churn right here with a fence and a log block, one of our custom blocks on the server.
Yes, the thin log walls. Very useful when you're building trees.
Yes. Hearth and or like the main cooking fire, and here is the granary.
Yes, this is the castle granary. Now, I find it interesting that they have the grain here, but there is no mill in the castle.
Yeah,
Or, sorry, we're not supposed to be over there yet.
Yeah, I don't think they have it over there.
Definitely not. That's the courtyard. Now, up here, it appears they're getting a shipment of fresh produce from outside the castle because the town is not safe, so they're bringing it here for protection. And there is another pit. I shall see you outside.
Okay, let's go downstairs. Oh, yes, hello.
Howdy. Let's head back out
yes.
to this courtyard. Because not that door. This door. We still have to go and see the main entrance.
Yes, and the gatehouse.
Yes, that's the cool part. So in this main entrance, we've got the aforementioned cart, as well as what would appear to be the
The
noble stables. This is where they keep their extra expensive war horses. And as well, you can see the gap that I mentioned in the door, that I believe is a peephole, except for the fact that there's gaps up here.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking it was damaged. Because I don't think
You're likely right in that regard.
Yes. Unless they have a giant that we don't know.
Well, if it were House Umber, I'd believe you.
Fair. So which
Suppose
which
we start here?
gates?
Go
Yes.
up or across and back down.
Yes.
So here we have some weapons and some armor that's for the soldiers that are actively guarding the gatehouse. Now, there's a lot of guard posts and parlors for the soldiers in these towers. And that's kind of interesting because more often than not, castles of roughly this scale would have a garrison in peacetime, to be clear, of around anywhere from 30 to 100 men, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you have such a strong defensive advantage, they can throw back thousands if they're prepared. Now, these guys were not prepared, obviously.
Yes. I think this bedchamber belongs to the captain of the gate.
Most likely. Then up again. This takes us onto those inner battlements where we can see both the entrance and the outer ward. Or the giant. roof in the way of said outer ward. And up here's another parlor. But this one gives us access to the mechanism for the portcullis. Fascinating.
Yes, very fascinating.
Takes us across, more swords, more beds, a lot of the same. It's a big weapons area, storage area. I think this takes us to the roof.
Yes.
No, there's another floor.
Oh, this is one formidable gatehouse.
Yeah.
I'd say this is a very strange privy because that one empties out to the front of the castle.
Yes, it does. It pours right next to the bridge.
Yeah, that doesn't sound appealing.
No, not quite.
Especially for any incoming visitors.
Here, let's head down this side, I think.
Just wanted to take a look at some of the more room.
The inn's across here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some
Another parlor. Fascinating.
And this takes us back to the Knight's Tower.
Yes. All these are most of these towers are interconnected by the battlements.
If it's this staircase? Yeah, it's this staircase.
Should be.
Here we have Sergeant.
Possibly. Might be just a different role. Potentially Master at Arms, Steward, Seneschal, anything.
Here we have yet
more mechanisms. That's likely for the door. And then we simply step back out. Oh, there's a lever there.
Yeah, the levers are from like the old days where portcullises. What would be the plural of a portcullis?
I really don't want to say portcullis.
Yeah, that doesn't sound right.
No, not in the slightest. I'm just gonna go with the singular every time. And if I need to say it plural, I'll just say the portcullis and the other portcullis.
Yes, but that lever was back from the days where the castle portcullis can actually raise up. I don't know what that would have looked like. That was way before I joined the server, but
yes, almost a decade probably.
And here we are.
Now,
inner.
This would be the courtyard. We've kind of been in the inner ward. This castle doesn't have ward setups like that so much as baileys, and all in one ward. Wards are distinct defensive zones.
Okay.
So if you consider, for example, my project at Bullock, right? Nobody else knows what I'm talking about, but this is more for your benefit. The outer ward in that wooden palisade is a distinct defensive barrier between it and the inner ward, the stone ringed area. So this castle is basically all one ward with a bunch of different baileys, subsections within it.
Okay, so this is just a courtyard.
Yes, this would be where Lord Piper would greet nobility and potentially hold celebrations in this area.
Interesting. So, shall we explore this tower right here? Or actually, before we do, we could probably go up here.
Yes, I believe there is rooms. Nope.
No,
here.
Looks like we have...
This place is wonderfully convoluted.
So there's another bed chamber here.
I believe we need to go this way. This takes us back into the tower.
Yes. Yeah, this really is a maze.
Yes. Maze-like castles are the best castles. Now this, I think, is some petty nobility, probably lesser branch of the Piper family. So cousins, maybe Lord Piper's brother. Yeah, so they got a parlor, they got some beds, bit of a divider so that it's not too crowded, but they certainly live a cushy life.
Then we have access to the battlements further up the stairs.
Yes.
Where do you
Access to the battlements. I'm down here.
Oh, you're down there. I'll just be outside.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Oh, I see.
So this appears to be where Lord Piper is planning the further defense of his castle, because it's been attacked a fair few times.
It's over here, right next to their planning area is the maester's tower.
Yes, this is where the maester and presumably some acolytes would live. So this is his parlor. This is where he probably does most of his work, I would say.
Yes. We have a cage here for Raven. Not quite sure what it's doing down here.
Maybe it's an injured one.
Oh, yes. Possibly.
Now, these are his bed chambers. He's got a nice, fancy bed, befitting a man paid to be here. And a little bathing area. Very cozy. Have you noticed that half the stairs go, half the towers, the stairs go clockwise, and then the other half, they go counterclockwise?
Well, I know there is that myth where
Oh, there's the sword wielding myth on the tower spirals, but I was more just referring to how they're not
consistent.
Yeah.
Yeah. Surprisingly, that myth is actually false. I think.
Yeah. It sounds plausible, but it could just as easily be a negligible difference.
Yes.
For those unaware, the myth propagates that when you are attacking a castle, you typically have to fight your way upstairs. And so that means that you, the defender, are backing up the stair. And as most people were right-handed, you would be holding your sword in your right hand. Now, if you're backing up a stair that runs clockwise, you will be able to back up and keep your sword hand out of the way of the column. But as the attacker goes up, their sword hand will be blocked by the central column. This is defeated in any spacious staircase, or the moment you have to fight going down a staircase, or if you have left-handed soldiers, hence the myth, and it likely being a negligible benefit, if any at all.
The nice skull to indicate this is where the maester lives.
Totally not suspicious.
Yes. Let's not to worry about it. Here we have access to the battlements, and if we go up here, we have more raven cages.
Ah, yes. I mean, the Pipers are a pretty significant lordly house, so they would have correspondence with a great number of places. After all, a raven can only go between 2 places. It can't go more than that. So you would have a raven between Pinkmaiden, this castle, and, say, King's Landing, the administrative head of the 7 Kingdoms. You would have a raven between Riverrun, the administrative head of the Riverlands, and Pinkmaiden. And then you would have ones to the other great houses.
But would they have one that goes to the north, or
maybe it really depends, likely on who the current Lord of Pinkmaiden has relations with, right? Because ravens don't live for very long. So if they have no reason to contact the North, they'll sell or just let that raven die of old age and not replace it. But it's most likely that the majority of those go to Houses of the Riverlands, say the Vances of Wayfarer's Rest in Atranta, the Blackwoods, the Brackens, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Possibly one to Stony Sept as well.
Here we have the statue of Maiden, presumably.
Yes. Yes, likely the maiden from the faith,
Yes.
considering their heraldry.
Speaking of the faith, here is the castle
This-
Sept.
Yes, the maiden stands front and center, as is befitting Pinkmaiden. Although, a shame the statue is not pink.
Yes. And of course, we have the smith, completely intact, though it's
Not thrown out any windows.
Well, it's one step away from being thrown out a window.
I mean, who's gonna leverage this statue out that window? It would have to be Gregor. I mean that brings up Gregor was definitely the guy who threw it out the window. Nobody else is that spiteful and that strong.
Yes. So, shall we go? Where shall we go?
I suppose the Great Hall.
Yes.
Here's the magic portcullis.
It goes directly into the stone. We have the mechanism.
Yes. The mechanism that also goes nowhere. Now this is quite a nice Great Hall, although you can see they've cleared out some space, likely to use it as, I believe you pointed out, an infirmary.
Yes. I'm just saying it because there are a lot of sheets on the high table.
Yes, I would admit this one kind of looks like they wrapped up a dead body.
Ah. I'd step away from that if I were you.
Rather than standing directly on it.
Yes.
Yes, probably wise.
We go up here. Here is the gallery. Look at the Great Hall.
So this is where the extended court of the area would look down on proceedings within the Great Hall.
It's up, down.
Broken ankles.
Who needs them?
Yeah, who needs bones, right?
Especially in Minecraft. It's not like we can
Yeah.
bones in this game.
We're just built out of sterner stuff.
Yes.
Now here is the godswood. This place is very pretty, although largely ceremonial.
Yes. There's no weirwood, but there is a large birch tree in the center.
Yes, a wonderfully large birch tree, very reminiscent of a weirwood, if not quite the same. It's an interesting thing, godswoods in modern times, especially south of the Neck. Very few houses actually worship the old gods outside of the north, and because the pipers are 99% likely to follow the faith of the Seven, the godswood that they have is entirely for political status. That they have the space and the money to cultivate such a large collection of nature within their own castle, it is a very potent sign of their capabilities, I suppose.
Yes. Not to mention, not to mention that, like, this is taking up valuable space. So,
Yes.
it's-
You can also see that because there's these glass gardens here, which grow plants in the wintertime.
Yes. A few strawberries over here. This one
Some
really
sour
smells-
leaf. Must be. You don't see them very often.
Yes.
Now, an interesting thing to note, this is not actually a heart tree, like you would expect in a typical godswood. The heart tree in a godswood specifically has to have the face carved on it. It does not, however, have to be a weirwood. For example, the heart tree in the godswood of the Red Keep is a great oak tree, but it is still considered a heart tree by Ned Stark and his daughters. They still pray to it. However, this one has no face and therefore cannot be considered a heart tree. Even if it were a weirwood, it would not be a heart tree without the face.
Yes. I mean, it's like what you said. This is more for ceremonial purposes.
Yeah. It's a big status symbol.
It's,
Like owning a muscle car. They're useless, but they're really cool looking.
it's props right in front of this tower here.
Yeah, a bit odd. But I suppose it's in relation to the greenhouse.
Yes.
Now this is the ladies' tower, correct?
Yes, because you really need more decoration blocks, but here you can see a giant loom. Kind of looks like they're making
Yes.
sails rather than cloth.
But yeah, sail looms can get huge. For the larger ships, you're looking at a loom twice the size or more. That one would produce some nice ships for a riverboat, though. Nice sails for a riverboat, which just so happens to be convenient because we are right on the Red Fork.
I'm not even going to begin to imagine how big the loom would be for some of the larger ships in the realm.
You imagine like the Warhammer, the sails on that thing. They all have to be made in one go.
Yes. That's gonna
Now these are Lady Piper's handmaidens and ladies in waiting here, I believe, or were these the children?
I think these
These
were the handmaidens.
Yes, yeah. I think because you can see the vanity here, or not a vanity, the mirror.
Yes, the mirror.
Vanity is a contentious term on this server because vanities didn't really exist until like the 1600s, and we are not set that late.
This is high fantasy, so
It's low fantasy.
or low fantasy. Oh right. I mean, I might be getting
Low fantasy is a very broad term, but it's basically like high fantasy is all action. There's no minutia, there's no day-to-day life. There's no casual perspective. Low fantasy is a lot more grounded in reality.
Okay, yes.
And it's consequentially a lot more relatable to the reader.
Here we have the nursery.
Yes, this is likely the... was the crib probably?
Yes.
For the baby, and then a bed for the younger children.
Or the wet nurse.
Or the wet nurse, yes. Although the wet nurses were typically small folks, so may not have afforded a bed as pleasant as this.
There. Toys here.
Yes. Then going up a floor, oh, there's this. That just takes us straight to the roof.
Yes. We don't need to see the roof.
It's the same as all the other roofs.
Yes.
Here we have a table,
Yes.
and then Lady Piper's bedchambers. Now, you will note that I'm saying Lady Piper, not Lord Piper, and that is because in the history of, the real world medieval history, a lot of marriages among nobility were often political alliances formed through marriage, and so they would be formed less on the basis of love. And so quite often you would see separate apartments for the husband and wife.
Here we have the bathtub in Lady's chambers.
I don't think there's anything else up here. A bit of firewood and access to the battlements and the privy.
So we have one more tower to go, so if we just go down the spiral
I believe so.
staircase. descend back through the godswood, we now have Lord Piper's tower here.
Yes.
Here, this is the solar. Well,
Yeah, the family solar. This is where they have their private meals.
yes. Lovely lighting in here for a solar.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. A single candle and the dying dregs of a fire.
Yes.
But all in all, quite a nice atmosphere in the room, minus the lighting. The pillars are very, very nice touch.
Yes. As well as the vaulted ceiling.
Yes, that's quite good. A lot of towers on the server lack vaulted stone ceilings, even though this staircase completely compromises the structural integrity of the tower. The ceilings in most towers, especially the base floors, would be vaulted in order to keep the tower standing.
That's interesting to note.
So here we have what is likely to be his parlor. So this is where he meets with his councilman, most likely.
Yes, there's a writing desk. We have the privy in that room.
Quite a nice little area.
Yes.
And then a window out into the godswood.
I really like both.
Yeah, that is quite nice. I imagine that's probably where his children spent a lot of their youth. And his bedchamber. Now you see what we mean about the beds getting bigger.
Yes, the ludicrously large bed. For Lord
Absurd.
Piper. As well as his armor, right at the base of the bed.
A nice big old rack of books. I believe Lord Piper is a avid reader.
Well, I mean, they could just be for show.
Potentially, but that's a lot of money to waste on show.
Yeah, it's a sad symbol.
Where's the way up?
Oh, you have to go up to or down to go up, so it's just like further along here.
Right. Yes, I remember how convoluted this was.
Yes. Now we are on the battlements.
Yes, this is the Red Fork right below us. It is the first and southmost of the three forks of the River Trident. And it flows all the way northeast to River Run, where it joins with the Tumblestone to form the proper Red Fork.
And there really isn't anything in these turrets over here.
Nope,
I think they
not a soul.
Yes, I think they would have been more accessible on the top.
In theory, but there is quite literally no way up.
Oh, I mean, it is old, and it's going to be redone,
Yes.
so...
Yes.
Yes, so...
We'll do another video on it when it is.
Yes, and on that note, that is the end of the video. Pinkmaiden's probably going to be standing here for at least a year, or at least this version of it.
Yes, at least a year or more, I'm thinking.
Yes, so I highly encourage you to visit this version of Pinkmaiden now. Take a look at all the places we haven't explored, although we did explore quite a bit of the castle.
Yes, there is the vassal house to the south, and there is also a few secrets in the castle that you'll have to find for yourself.
Oh yes, definitely. Totally did not expose some of them in the video.
Well, you expose the entrances, not where they go or what they do. So I think that's good enough.
True, yes. But yes, that's Pinkmaiden. Thank you so much for watching. Join us next week, where we will be exploring the equally as ancient Acorn Hall.
That'll be fun.
Yes, it will. The seat of House Smallwood. So, again, Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Have a good one.